Gamers, welcome back to another video. We're talking about Forza Horizon 5 with a wheel, with a sim racing wheel. In this video I'm using the Logitech G920 with the H pattern shifter, and I'm using the clutch in this video because I'm familiar with how to drive with a clutch and stuff like that, but you could also use the paddle shifters if you want, and if you don't have the shifter. And I'm on the Steam edition of the game, and this was basically just plug and play for me. I plugged it into my computer and it worked perfectly well. I didn't really even have to change any of the settings. They're pretty good right out of the box. And so the main question of this video is it worth it or not? And I think it's almost always yes, with a couple of exceptions which we're going to talk about, but mostly yes. The first thing I want to say is this game, Forza Horizon 5, plays way better with a wheel compared to Forza Horizon 4. Horizon 4 felt okay, it worked, but the force feedback was a little weird. You didn't feel that connected to the car. But this game, especially in cockpit view, you feel very connected to the car. The force feedback is very good. It's very easy to tell when you're understeering or oversteering, stuff like that. You can feel the weight of the car in the corners. It's just very good. Because of how good it feels, it's actually really fun just to casually drive around and rip up and down the volcano, kind of like I'm doing in this video. You almost want to just chill out and drive and take in the scenery. It's really fun with a wheel. But there are still a couple of things that we need to note here while using a wheel with Forza Horizon 5. The first of which is that the game is very optimized for a controller, actually. So because of this, because of how easy it is to drive on a controller, it's very hard to drive and race and drift at the same highest level that you can with a controller. I can usually race against AI on highly skilled or expert with a controller, but on this it would be a lot more difficult for me. It's just a little bit harder to race as fast as you can with a controller. The same thing goes for drifting. I've 3-starred every drift zone in the game with a controller, but it's a little bit more difficult with the wheel. The learning curve is there too. Maybe I'm more used to a controller. It's just something to take into account here. The game is very well optimized for a controller, so it's a lot easier on a controller, and it's a little more difficult on a wheel, but it's worth the learning curve, in my opinion. It's really just fun to drive around and try it out. Something else I want to note for myself personally is when I'm driving with a wheel, it's much easier for me to drive in cockpit view or in hood view or something to feel more connected to the car. It's really hard for me to drive with a wheel in the chase camera when you're outside of the car kind of following it, but in this game it's usually a lot easier to drive in that chase cam in general because you can see more, especially if you're playing something like Eliminator and you're looking for, like, you're trying to swerve through some trees or something, or you're doing Trailblazers. I can imagine Trailblazers and stuff like that would be a lot harder in cockpit view. And then if I'm not in cockpit view, then it feels a little bit weird to drive with a wheel, but maybe people can get used to that. It's just a little difficult for me. The other issue with this is some cars don't have a perfectly good cockpit view. They're either really hard to see out of, or you're on the other side of the car if the car's right-hand drive, and it feels a little bit weird. But other than that, I mean, everything with a wheel is actually really good in this game. I came from Assetto Corsa and iRacing and those types of games with a wheel, and I wasn't expecting it to be this good, but it was really a whole lot of fun, and I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. So to answer the main question of this video, I would recommend a wheel for this. I do think it's worth it. The Logitech G920 is a very good choice if you're looking for one. I know Thrustmaster also makes wheels for this game. And the third main company I think is Fanatec. It's F-A-N-A-T-E-C. I don't know how to say that, but they make higher end wheels. So it's really Logitech, Thrustmaster, or Fanatec for your wheel choices. I do recommend the shifter because it works with this game and it makes you that much more immersed. Once you learn how to drive with a clutch and a shifter, it's just a whole lot of fun. So that about sums up my thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and subscribe if you want to stick around. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.